Welcome to Psychic Bent. My name is Carrie.
And I'm Kim. We are two sisters wanting to help other psychics learn and grow in their abilities and to help educate about spirits, angels, and everything psychic.
Welcome back, Psychic Bent listeners. This is episode 50.
Yay!
We're halfway to 100.
Yay!
And this is our Valentine episode. So it's kind of fun to be able to kind of lay these ahead of time and try to research and come up with some fun things. But obviously, this one's going to be about Valentine's Day. And she said she wanted to left brain it. And so she's going to give us all the history of actual Valentine's Day, where it originated, and all sorts of lore, I believe.
Yes. All kinds of stuff here.
All right. So, Kim, why don't you take it from there?
Okay, thanks. So, Valentine's Day, of course, is on February 14th. It had been around for quite a long time, which, in my me little world, I never knew really the origins of it or how far back it really went and why was it named it. I just never gave that any thought. So I felt this was going to be kind of fun and interesting to learn about Valentine's Day. There are several different things that they think when it started, different myths or legends that are tied to Valentine's Day. And the oldest origins go back to an ancient pagan festival that was conducted in February. So it was a festival called Lupercalia where it was dedicated to Faunus, the Roman god of agriculture, as well as Roman founders Romulus and Remus. The festival were members of Luperci, an order of Roman priests, and they would gather at a sacred cave where the infants Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome, were believed to have been cared for by a she-wolf or lupa. And the priests would sacrifice a goat for fertility and a dog for purification. And they would then strip the goat's hide. This is crazy. Strip the goat's hide into strips, cut it into strips and dip them into the sacrificial blood and then take to the streets, gently slapping both women and the crop fields with the goat hide. This was far from being fearful. The Roman women welcomed this touch because it was believed to make them more fertile in the coming year. And later in the day, according to legend, all the women in the city would place their names in a big urn, and the city's bachelors would each choose a name and become paired for the year with his chosen woman. And these matches often turned into marriages. I found that one to be very, very interesting.
I don't suggest doing that
No.
today.
No. No, but that's one of the legends behind the celebration of Valentine's Day because it happened in February 15th. Another one in the history of Valentine's Day is the story of patron saints in the church. And a lot of it is shrouded in mystery. We know that February has long been celebrated as the month of romance and love and such. And the St. Valentine's Day, as we know it today, contains vestiges of both Christian and ancient Roman traditions. But who was this St. Valentine? Well, the Catholic Church recognizes at least 3 different saints that were named Valentine or Valentinus, all of whom were martyred. So it's like pick one, right? One legend contends that Valentine was a priest who served during the 3rd century in Rome when Emperor Claudius II decided that single men made better soldiers than those with wives and families. He outlawed marriage for young men. Valentine realized the injustice of this decree and defied Claudius and continued to perform marriage ceremonies for young lovers in secret. And when his actions were discovered, Claudius, of course, ordered that he be put to death. Still, others insist that it was Saint Valentine of Terna, who was a bishop and who was the true namesake of the holiday. so they say, and he too was beheaded by Claudius II outside of Rome.
For doing what?
Well, for the same type of marriages and such. Other stories suggest that this Valentine may have been killed for attempting to help Christians escape the harsh Roman prisons, where they were often beaten and tortured. And according to one legend, an imprisoned Valentine actually sent the first Valentine greeting himself after he fell in love with a young girl.
Oh, wait. He's a bishop in the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
And he fell in love with a young girl. Different rules than today.
As a matter of fact, that's where I was going with this. I didn't dive deep into Catholic religion and such, but I think the rules were different back then. I really do. Anyway, she was a young girl, possibly the jailer's daughter, who visited him during his confinement. Now, before his death, it's alleged that he wrote her a letter signed "From Your Valentine," an expression that is still used today. Although the truth behind the Valentine legends, it's all murky. It's anything that far back, never written down or anything in those things. So it's kind of hard to tell exactly which one was attributed to the actual naming of St. Valentine's.
Yeah. And things change so much.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, like, because it's not documented.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's documented these men died.
Right.
Their names are close or similar, but you also have to think about, here I go, and so unleft-brained, but wasn't it just a common name for that period?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. Was it? I don't know.
You had two men that had similar names.
There were actually three.
They were, but during the same time period?
Yes.
So, okay, right now I'm saying it's a popular name.
Right.
If not, it was, I don't know if they still do, but they used to change their names when they became a pope or a bishop. I think they changed their names to something more different.
I don't know.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't know either. I'm just talking now. But I'm thinking that was a very common name.
Probably. Yeah, I don't know.
Especially for those that were martyred. So how many were running around that didn't get killed that had the same kind of name?
Yes.
So I just think, I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. Valentine could have been John Smith. You know,
That's
today's
true.
world.
That's true.
That's my spin on it. Has nothing to do with psychics or anything else. I'm just saying.
Right.
It's beginning to sound like that was a popular name.
I'd agree with that. Most likely.
But could you imagine marriages are outlawed?
Right?
So you're endorsing children out of wedlock because that's what's going to happen. You know?
Yeah.
Because unless you make them eunuchs, this is going to be the same situation.
Yep.
Crazy how the thought process goes sometimes.
Oh, definitely. How on earth did Claudius think that what he was doing by making it so the young men couldn't marry women, how was that going to work? Where are the children going to come from?
Yeah. I mean, there's still going to be children.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're basically, going to extinct
Exactly.
your race, because I've outlawed children now.
Exactly.
And wives.
Right.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah. We didn't think it through.
Yeah, he didn't think it through at all. No.
Yeah. Maybe it was just for soldiers only. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So Lupercalia survived the initial rise of Christianity. That was the pagan practice, but was outlawed as it was deemed unchristian. At the end of the 5th century, that's when that was done. When Pope Gelasius, at that point in time, declared February 14th St. Valentine's Day. It was not until much later, however, that the day actually became definitively associated with love. And during the Middle Ages, it was commonly believed in France and England that February 14 was the beginning of birds' mating season, which added to the idea that the middle of Valentine's Day should be a day for romance.
Because the birds are getting it on. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Spicy sleep there for the birds. So the English poet Geoffrey Chaucer was the first to record St. Valentine's Day as a day of romantic celebration in a...
typical Chaucer.
You're right. In the 1317 poem Parliament of Fowls. He actually used St. Valentine's Day in the actual poem. Now, the Valentine greetings were popular as far back as the Middle Ages, though the written Valentines didn't begin to appear until after the 1400s. So see, this goes back, way back. The oldest known Valentine still in existence today was a poem written in 1415 by Charles, the Duke of Orleans, to his wife while he was imprisoned in the Tower of London following his capture. And the greeting is now part of a manuscript collection in the British Library, which I think they have so many old things, old documents, old writings over there. It's just amazing. One other thing that is associated with Valentine's Day is Cupid. And I know we talked about what Cupid looked like when we were discussing the archangels and such. And Cupid is often portrayed on Valentine's Day cards as a naked cherub launching arrows of love at unsuspecting lovers. I mean, we've seen them all, stereotypical. But the Roman god Cupid has his roots in Greek mythology as the Greek god of love, Eros. That's who that is the Greek god Eros. And accounts of his birth vary. Some say he is the son of Nyx and Erebus, others of Aphrodite or Ares, or some say he is the son of Iris and Zephyrus, or even Aphrodite and Zeus, who would have been his father and grandfather.
There's a joke in there somewhere.
It has to be.
Like, I'm not going to say it. Don't say it, Carrie. Don't say it.
Yep.
I'm just going to say there's a joke in there.
Yeah. So, according to Greek archaic poems, Eros was a handsome immortal, played with the emotions of gods and men, using golden arrows to incite love and laden ones to sow aversion. It wasn't until the Hellenistic period that he began to be portrayed as the mischievous, chubby child he'd become on Valentine's Day cards.
Wow.
Wow, right?
Yeah.
Went from this Greek god down to this cherub child.
And I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. Now, how often, we've gone over different things in previous episodes where it started out as one religious or whatever thing,
Mm-hmm.
and someone else now steps in and looks poorly upon this religious group. But I'm going to take that and make it what I want it to be. And I'm going to take that and make it what I want it to be. Just like we were talking about the Christmas trees,
Right.
how they originated. So it doesn't surprise me that maybe a faction of people could, because, there's not a lot of people that follow Greek mythology.
Right.
And probably don't believe in Greek mythology. And I could see where, yeah, we're going to make them more like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because it suits our purpose
to
do this.
Right.
That's just kind of how I'm looking at it. Not saying I'm right, not saying I'm wrong. That's just how I see it.
Well, it's evident through the entire history of man where things have been changed, adopted, adapted to fit current times, agendas, and such.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So we'll continue on with some greetings, where the greetings and gifts came from for Valentine's Day.
We're talking pre-Hallmark, right?
Well, sure. Yeah, we are talking. Yeah. In addition to the United States, Valentine's Day is celebrated in Canada, Mexico, the United Kingdom, France, and Australia. In Great Britain, Valentine's Day, it began to become popular and celebrated around the 17th century. By the middle of the 18th century, it was common for friends and lovers of all social classes to exchange small tokens of affection or handwritten notes. But by the 1900s, printed cards actually began to replace the written letters due to improvements in printing technology. And ready-made cards, they were an easy way for people to express their emotions in a time when the direct expression of one's feelings was discouraged. Cheaper postage rates and stuff like that increased the popularity of just sending these Valentine's Day greetings. Now, Americans began exchanging handwritten valentines in the early 1700s. In the 1840s, Esther Howland. She began selling the first mass-produced Valentines in America, and she's known as the mother of the Valentine. She made elaborate creations with real lace and ribbons and colorful pictures, and they were known as scrap. So today, of course, there's the Hallmark Company that estimates there's like 145 million Valentine's Day cards that are sent each year, and that's what makes a Valentine's Day. It's the second largest card sending holiday of the year. Of course, the most is Christmas. That's what I found out about
Wow.
Valentine's Day. There was a lot.
And was doing some research, even though that you were going to be running with it, and I'm like, well, that's a lot of stuff. Who knows what she's going to come up with?
Yeah.
Just like, I'll be surprised.
Yeah. Well, there were other things that I found in research and
Yes.
stuff, but these were the most commonly referenced things that I found, and I just found it very
Hmm.
fascinating because I never even thought about how far back Valentine's Day actually went. And once I saw that there was a pagan holiday that had been actually the beginnings of it, that was BC, before Christ. That celebration was taking place BC, but then the St. Valentine's people, when that took place, it was AD. It was 28 AD or something like that. I can't remember the exact date. But anyway, it was just fascinating that it went so far back. Of course, we're taking everything back to the Roman and pagan practices way back then, like
Yeah.
everything else we've been seeing.
It's really funny because I get on these binge watching kicks,
Mm-hmm.
and lately it's Vikings stuff because I find I don't know how accurate the Vikings on Netflix is to the authentic how it was,
Mm-hmm. Right.
but they did a lot of blood ceremonies where in the show it's like they're dipping animal skin in blood.
Mm-hmm.
It was not uncommon to have the sacrifice blood flicked on you.
Right.
Even in a wedding ceremony, it was showing that. Like, and the ring was in blood. So it's kind of interesting when you said that because my mind went to the Vikings, which they worshipped several gods, obviously, and Odin was one of them.
Right. The Norse gods.
Yes. So it's kind of interesting when you said that. So we're going to now kind of focus on, a lot of people, especially if you're single, dread Valentine's Day because all the focus is on what? Love.
But it's all on engagements, married couples, and such like that. But there are many couples out there that don't really celebrate it neither because they don't believe in the commercialization of it. However, it's been around forever. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Long
anyway,
before the commercialization.
correct.
So Valentine's Day basically is what you want to make of it.
Right.
I thought it was very important from a psychic standpoint to talk about self-love. As strong empaths, we get sucked into things that are beyond our control, it seems like. You get in situations or you get around energy vampires and you give, you give, you give, you give.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, and Kim thought, when we were discussing the Valentine's Day special, our episode, I don't know why I keep calling it special because we're so special, that, self-love is very important. And so many people feel guilty doing any self-love for themselves. You know what I'm saying? So we want to cover that. And there's many forms of self-love. Self-love is basically you're taking care of your own well-being, whether it's physical, mental, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking care of you. And when you don't take care of you, that's when you hit that brick wall. You go, you go, you go until you got nothing left. And then you just bam, you get sick. You're exhausted. Your spiritual growth is stumped because spirit's not going to let you move on because you're not mentally and physically in a place to do it. If you keep emptying a pitcher, eventually the pitcher's going to be empty. If you keep pouring out, pour out, and you don't put anything back in it, it's going to be empty. So self-love is very, very important. And some people, the modern concept is self-love, oh, you must be a narcissist. But that's not the same kind of self-love we're talking about. The narcissist isn't about love or loving themselves. It's all about what they can get. Whereas self-love is taking care of your spiritual growth. You support yourself physically. Self-love is very important. And I think in today's society, Especially I think women, men need self love too, don't get me wrong, but I think women carry so much responsibilities that they leave themselves no room for self love. Going to the grocery store. If you have a mate that doesn't go to the grocery store with you, you got to do it on your own. You're the one doing the laundry. You're the one making sure what dinner's going to be, picking kids up for school. You work. It's nonstop
Right.
if you don't take time for self love. Now, what does that look like for you? It can be different for anybody. We talk about psychic showers and psychic baths, and we've promoted that. That's a very important part of self love is releasing things, having that time to yourself. So no one's bothering you. You got the door closed. You can stay in there as long as you want, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But you have to set that parameter up that I'm going to be in here and until I come back out, nobody talk to me.
Yeah.
Put earbuds in, put your music on, and just enjoy the bath, enjoy the shower. If you want to splurge, you could go get a massage, but that's just a quick, yeah, it's going to feel good. But then what? You can't afford to get a massage every day.
Right.
Hopefully, you're bathing every day, but you don't have the opportunity to take a luxurious bath. And then you have to make time, even just cutting out time to show self love by meditating. That is a form of self love
Mm-hmm.
because you're grounding yourself while you meditate. You're opening up to spirit. You're focusing on nothing other than meditating, hopefully. It's hard to do. See how that can be so good psychologically, a great form of self care.
Oh, yeah. Because that reduces stress. It helps you increase your happiness.
Yeah,
Mindfulness comes with it. It's just such a great way to just focus on you in that meditation, just to enjoy it.
yeah. And self love needs to be a daily practice, not just for Valentine's Day, but it's a good day to start the self love.
Mm-hmm.
Self love is a daily practice where you're going to meditate. If you can exercise regularly, that is going to help with stress hormones being minimum. Even it's just going for a walk in the woods, that's grounding.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you want to try to eat and sleep well, which, sleeping was a challenge. It is a challenge.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. To me, the biggest problem I see with, I would say, women of all ages, and I don't know if men do this, but I know women do it because I hear it a lot, is where they are not kind towards themselves.
Oh, that does happen with men too. But
Don't
yeah,
do that? Okay.
yeah.
I was say, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with being kind to yourself, which means stop criticizing you. I think we do that a lot. We look in the mirror. What's the first thing we do? We start judging ourselves
Yep.
by whatever thing we're picking apart at the time. And how does that stifle you psychically? It lowers your vibration.
Mm-hmm.
You're not in a good place in your mind. You're going to attract lower vibrational things to you, which is not a good thing. And it's kind of one of those things where you don't realize how you got there.
Right.
If you speak badly about yourself, how does that transcend to other people?
Yeah, because what you're putting out is what they're picking up.
Yes, exactly. And again, that's where you mentioned mindfulness comes into play. And it's really easy when you're single and you've got this holiday coming up that everybody's talking about and you want nothing to do with it. Or if you're a couple that, like you said, it's just a day.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're treating it that way as well, where's your kindness towards yourself? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard women say things about themselves. And I'll say something like, well, I wouldn't say that to you. Why would you say that to yourself? Why would you say something like that? Would you say something like that to me? No. Well, then why would you say it to yourself? So that's part of self love is having self compassion. So be compassionate to yourself. We all have something that we'd love to change if we could.
True.
But focusing on that, if it's a body part or your hair, you're single and you think you're never going to meet someone. Well, you won't with that attitude. It's all about self love, and that's a hard, hard habit to break.
Well, yeah, because you've got ego stepping right in there too and helping
Yes,
along with that thought process.
So when you find yourself starting to look at your failings or how you look in the mirror or anything like that, anytime you show any type of negativity towards you, you need to use mindfulness to pull yourself away from that. Even if it's every day, I'm going to write down 3 things I like about me. And they can't be the same thing every day. And I think that might really push you to show some self-compassion to yourself. So, Kim, if you had to write 3 things you like about you right now, what would that be? Cut you off guard, didn't it?
Yeah,
But shouldn't you be able to just rattle that off?
you should be able to. Yeah.
But then when you say something, you got the whole mind process. Well, I'm going to sound arrogant, or do I sound cocky, or maybe they don't see that in me and I'm wrong.
That's mine.
I know. I know. If you're down low, your vibration's low, you're not going to grow your psychic abilities, and you're not going to be able to work on your clairs, and you're not going to be grounded because your mind is not in a good spot. Now, give me 3 things, Kim. I didn't let you off the hook. And you could start it with I think I'm. So that's not saying I
Well,
am. I think I'm.
right,
So it doesn't sound cocky.
right. I think that I am kind, and I think that I am smart, and I like my height, even though I'm short.
Okay.
Because when I fall, I don't hurt myself as much.
You have far to go.
That's right.
At work today, I was trying to clean off the top of my, it's like a filing cabinet, and I was on my tiptoes, and so someone walks up, she goes, "Let me get this for you, shorty." You're like stretching yourself out here. Like, I'm almost one of the tallest people in my family. You know?
Yeah,
I'm not, but almost.
almost.
But see, you were trying to find the right words
Yes,
to come up with the 3 things. And I think that's a very common thing for all of us. It's funny what you led with. What did you lead with? I think I'm kind.
that I think I'm kind.
Now, you know what I was thinking I'm leading with?
What?
I know I'm funny.
Yeah.
I think I'm funny. That's what I was going to leave with. Like, my number 1 of the top 3. I think I'm funny.
Well, I know you are, so.
Well, you think I'm funny.
Yes, I do. I think you're funny.
Yes, yes, yes. And I think I'm very kind.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you wouldn't think so if you're a passenger in my car. We're driving down the highway. Kim has been on the speakerphone while I've been driving, and she's heard things.
Yes, I have heard things.
Yes, yes. But so when I'm not driving, I believe I'm very kind.
Yes, you are.
I also believe I'm very smart. Not highly intelligent, but I'm very smart.
You're street smart. No.
I got some street smarts. And I have raccoons in my yard that are thugs. You know, I mean, these are things I know. The raccoons stole from me again today.
Yep.
Yes, those darn raccoons. Anyway, so those were the 3 things that I thought, but I've been working on self-love for a while because I went through a divorce. And when you go through a breakup or a divorce, or you're in a stagnant relationship, what is your mindset?
It's not a good mindset. It is always one
No.
of self-deprecating statements and such.
Yeah. What's wrong with me?
Yep, what did I do wrong? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why is this happening to me? So you go through it, and then you're really looking critical at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Am I not lovable?
Am I not worthy?
Yeah. One day you love me, and the next day you don't. So what did I do? And it usually has nothing to do with you, but that's how we react. And so, and who has not ever gone through a breakup?
True.
At some point, someone's gone through a breakup. It has happened. And the longer I think we go without a healthy relationship, and I'm stressing the word healthy relationship, that your self-talk gets worse.
Yeah.
Because who else are you going to blame?
Yeah, because you always turn everything inward. Everybody does.
Yes. And you're highly critical of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Who has never had a self-talk with yourself? That sounds funny, self-talk with yourself, and not been kind. Especially if you said something that hurt someone's feelings and you didn't mean it that way, but that's just how it came out. What kind of self-conversation you having with there? Well, that was really stupid. Way to go, dummy. Those kind of things,
Mm-hmm.
which you don't think about it at the time, but you just lowered your vibration. You've got a perspective of yourself now. I'm a firm believer. If you say it out loud, it's out there. No taking it back. It's out there. So if I say something that's not very kind to myself about me, I put it out there.
Yep.
And you don't forget it because you put it out there.
And if you say it enough, it leads to a manifestation.
Yes. And that's a very, very good point, Kim. Sometimes we manifest what happens in our life.
Yep. That's where the phrase, you say it enough, it'll happen. That's what you're
Yeah,
doing.
because you made it. You
Mm-hmm.
made it happen because you've said it enough. I talk with some people at work and stuff that are going through different situations, and they're asking about manifesting, and I'm just kind of like, well, you got to know what you really want, but you also have to know how to ask for it. Because if you say you want to be free of debt, well, debt is a negative word, and you might inadvertently be creating more debt because you're manifesting on the word of debt. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Where you want more financial abundance.
You make it the positive words, not
Yes.
the ones that are heavy or negative.
Yeah. So if that works for manifesting, then how is self-loving yourself is going to do for you and your mood and your boost of confidence? You'll carry yourself differently
Mm-hmm.
because you like yourself.
Right.
Sometimes I think we don't like ourselves.
Well, true. That's the same as wanting to release, you need to release like resentment for yourself and stuff too, and your self doubts and those other things that just weigh you heavy. So you got to forgive yourself for those things as well. That's part
Yes.
of
And
the care.
yeah, and that's something people, I firmly believe, don't do is
Mm-hmm.
forgive yourself. If you've gone through a breakup, I'm going to tell you something. There's 3 sides to that story. Yours, theirs, and the third one's the truth.
Right.
And your perspective, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the truth because it's your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're constantly talking bad about yourself, then your attitude towards yourself will change and people will treat you the way you treat you.
Yep.
So not only psychically are you not developing, and you probably have some great depression going on because your vibration is so low that it's just, you're miserable. So find 3 things a day that you love about yourself. Do meditation.
Now, could you have the same 3 things each day until you feel that that's how you are, instead of just I think, that you go to I know?
Yeah. And then I am. And when you say I am, you have the confidence.
Right.
But the first time you do it, you're more than likely not going to have that confidence. Here, you and I said it on the air, put it out there. You were put on the spot, and you did very well, by the way, because Kim doesn't like to be put on the spot and happens all the time.
Yeah.
But but you gave, and it was easier for you to say, I think, because this was a new concept,
Right.
and you're training your mind. And then the next day, it could be the next step until you're ready to say, I am. You can say, I know I'm. You got to end with I am.
Right.
Because I am is owning it, and that is where you get your power. Now, this also means, we talk about this periodically, setting boundaries. Sometimes you need to say no at work or with your family so you could preserve your energy.
Yeah.
So you have to carve out this time so you can have your meditation, your walk, whatever it is you're going to do for you for self-love on this day. And it's not being selfish. It's setting a good boundary because you need that time. It's for your benefit. It's very important. If you compare yourself to other people, what are you doing? You're not them. I can't compare my 5'4" stature to someone who's 6 foot lanky. you know, I'm never going to be 6 foot.
Right.
Ain't gonna happen. I'm never gonna be lanky. It's just not going to happen. So why would I even try to compare myself to that person?
Correct.
And that would be like me trying to compare myself to a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Honey, I ain't going to be 20 anymore. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to have a body of a 20-year-old because my metabolism is not of a 20-year-old. So I'm wasting my time and my energy trying to compare myself to something that there's no way I'm going to ever look like that. And that's okay because I am me and this is how I look. And I love the way I am. Can't help it. But that took a lot of work to get there.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of acceptance. I think what kind of helped a little bit for me with acceptance was having to been born with a birth defect.
Mm-hmm.
With a cleft lip. I think that taught me at an early age to be funny.
Yeah.
So to deflect from, because, I had to have so many surgeries while growing up. And, it's your mouth. It's right there. Can't hide it.
Yeah.
I don't know if COVID had hit back then, I've been okay, but I had my mask on all the time. But that's just not the way I was made. This is how I was made.
Right.
And the teenage years, like I have a scar. I have one scar left on my lip. And so people just assume I was in a car accident or something. It's really funny. They come up with different scenarios, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
It's like, how'd I get the scar again? I like yours better. How did it happen? Because they notice the scar, and children are funny. Just like, what happened to your lip? Well, I mean, can't tell you how many times that's come up. Children, they all ask a question. They don't care.
Right.
They got all the self-love they have going on there. You want to talk about that? They got the self-love going on. Everything is theirs. And,
Yep.
But as we get older and life happens, we get away from taking care of ourselves. So there's nothing wrong with if you've got a friend that can help you out. Like, you know what, I'm just so tired. I just can't right now. And just come over and drink tea with me or, whatever. Isn't that a thing of self-love?
Sure.
Just come and sit with me and let's just visit. That could be adding to your peace of mind. From a psychic standpoint, if you've been working on your spiritual growth and you've been journaling and stuff, and you probably have quit journaling if you're talking bad to yourself.
Probably. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. So you need to get back into your spiritual growth habits and cut aside that me time so you have a better self-conversation. Do something that makes you feel good about you, whatever that is. Is it wearing red lipstick? That's not my thing because I don't like to draw attention to my lips. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What is the one thing that just brings you joy that you can do on your own? Is it wearing a certain perfume so you can smell and think, I am sexy? I got my favorite perfume on. Or is it a blouse? Or, me, it's going to be a pair of heels. Just because those are little things I do if I wake up and I'm feeling a little blah.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to make me feel better? What is the one thing that is going to help me get my energy level up, give me a quick boost? Oh, let's put the red heels on, and I'll wear all black and just the red heels. That makes me feel better. I don't know why. Both colors are grounding.
Mm-hmm.
So am I subconsciously trying to get myself grounded so I feel better?
Oh, probably.
And I just think red heels with a black outfit looks good. I feel good wearing it. And so, do I walk differently in those shoes in my black outfit? Yeah, because I'm feeling pretty good about myself. And I may look like a train wreck, I don't know, but I feel good about myself in it, and so I'm walking good in it. But that's a form of self-love. It's not being cocky or arrogant. I don't know if anybody else thinks I look good in it.
But it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I don't know what happened to them, but I had my hippie pants. Oh man, these were hippie pants. Love, love, love these pants. And they disappeared. I think the ex-husband did something with them, but that's just me. I would get so many compliments on those pants. Oh my gosh, love your pants. Thank you. My hippie pants. They were comfortable. They had all these different colors going on. Those made me feel good. Now, I'm not saying go spend money on a new wardrobe to make you feel good because that's not self-love. That's a coping mechanism. But these particular pants, when I wore them, and people the first time I wore them, I was self-conscious. But I really love these pants. I'm wearing them anyway. And people were complimenting on these pants. I thought, oh, cool. And, oh man, I love those pants. But they made me feel good. It was something simple that I had.
Mm-hmm.
It made me feel good. I like to put my earbuds in and just listen to certain music. Makes me feel good.
Yeah, I like to do that too.
That's a form of self-love.
Mm-hmm.
I am a huge Jane Austen fanatic. So sitting down to some Sense and Sensibility or any type of movie from that genre, that age, yeah, I'm like, I'm down. That's a form of self-love. Because how do you not feel good about that? When it gets to the end of the movie and everything falls into place.
Well, it's just something you enjoy, so therefore it makes you feel good.
Yeah. Treating myself to something I enjoy.
Exactly.
It could even reading a book can be self-love.
Mm-hmm.
It's just setting time aside to de-stress, to do self-love. They do have daily self-love affirmation books you could buy if that's more your comfort zone. Some people like a book.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And if that's your thing, great. They have calendars that have the peel off days that can give you self love quotes and stuff to say to yourself. So it's kind of, you have to figure out what works for you.
Yeah.
But I think Valentine's Day is a perfect day to figure out what you're going to do for yourself for self love.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a good way to start is getting those decadent strawberries that are covered in chocolate. Do some me time in a nice shower or tub, get all lotioned up, because when you use body lotion, your chances of being depressed are less. So if you're feeling really, really depressed, take a hot shower, hot bath, lotion up, and you'll feel so much better.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it does. I guess dry skin is depressing. I don't know, but it just seems to. But I think it's because you're performing self care.
Right.
So that's just kind of what I was wanting to go with my portion of this episode, because I think it's really, really important,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're a mother, because your children are watching you and you're teaching your children
Right.
how they're going to treat themselves or how they're going to treat you.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and again, it's also the same way in a intimate relationship or a dating relationship. If you don't treat yourself with respect and you don't treat yourself with self-love, what type of mate are you drawing to you?
Yeah.
Because if you feel you're not worthy, then this person is going to treat you like you're not worthy. And so I can be totally off on this. There's one thing about growing spiritually, you do change how you act and you do change as you grow what you accept, because you're setting boundaries has become easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, people have left your life, but it's easier now that they're gone, you
Yeah.
know, and you didn't realize whether it was a mate, a friend, a coworker, whatever. It changes you as you grow. Sometimes your world falls away from you and your tribe finds you.
Yeah.
But if you're not doing the self-care, what you're drawing to you is the narcissist, the dark empath,
Mm-hmm.
emotional vampires. You're bringing darkness to you. So because of lower vibration. So it's just really, really important to figure out what you need to do for Valentine's Day to treat yourself, to do something for you, and be as selfish as you think you need to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's how you feel at first. You feel like you're being selfish.
Yeah, you do, because you think, what, do I really deserve this?
Yeah,
Am I really allowed to take this time to do this for me? No, I've got this other
yeah.
stuff I need to do. That's where your mindset usually goes. I need to get this done, this done, this down before I can go do this. And then you run out of time for you to do that would do best for you.
And if you're attracting the same kind of person with each relationship, it's the same kind of results you're getting, and they're not good, then you really do need to take that hard look at yourself.
Yep.
Because if you keep attracting narcissists, then there's something you're doing to yourself that they've already seen what you're doing, so they can play on it.
Right.
They already see how you are talking to yourself, because you can't hide it, because you say things out loud.
Yep.
I heard someone a couple weeks ago say something, and we were having a conversation, and they said something that wasn't kind about themselves. And I had to just stop the conversation. I said, "Why would you say that? You don't honestly believe that, do you? That's ridiculous. Why would you don't say that about yourself? Because it's wrong. And if you hear someone doing that, you should step in and say something kind to them, because obviously they're not in a good spot. Show them some caring, self-love actions. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yes. So you're manifesting these relationships by the way that you treat yourself.
Yep. That's why you got to treat yourself right first.
Right. If you don't treat yourself like a princess, no one else will. And no one else might. But you know what I'm saying? At least you have a better chance of raising the bar, so to speak. You got to raise the bar for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, I went on a tangent. The one thing that I do want to stress about self-love is you have to surround yourself with supportive and loving people.
Yeah, you can't be in a relationship or around people that spew negativity or even the passive aggressive speak
Yeah,
around you,
yes,
because that's where those negative thoughts start to manifest in your mind.
right. And some people that are miserable don't want you happy.
Yeah,
So they're dragging you down.
right. They like being in that darkness down there, that low vibration
Right.
feeling.
That's where they're comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And someone who's truly, truly unhappy in life doesn't want anyone else to be happy.
Right.
You have to look at your friendships and you got to let go of the toxic, the draining, and the one-way friendships.
Exactly.
You have the one friend that only wants to do something that's convenient for them,
Yeah.
and then you don't hear from them for months, months, and months, and they're always negative. It's kind of like, okay, well, that's not healthy for you.
They haven't got past the me stage
Right.
because it's all about them.
And they may not.
Right.
But you also have to look at connections, how you invest your time and energy and care into a platonic or romantic relationship. Because you want one that's going to support, energize, and restore you, not drain you. So that's what a healthy relationship is that deep emotional connection.
Right.
Before you invest a lot of time and energy, you want to make sure that this person can give you support. Can they restore you? Can they energize you? If you're feeling constantly drained around them or you can't be yourself, then perhaps that's a toxic relationship or a one-way friendship that you would be better off without that
Right.
in your life.
Yep.
But I think the hardest thing here is trying to change the negative mindset.
Yeah, the negative mindset into you. That is the hardest.
Yes. And releasing resentment and grudges is part of that negative mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You can't think positive if you're holding a grudge.
Yep.
So sometimes when you release from the toxic relationships, the grudges go away.
Yeah, and it's funny because when that happens, you all of a sudden one day notice that that has lessened. Then it wasn't as consuming it within you. Finally, it's lessening, and then you wake up one day and it's not there. It's like
Right.
it's just moved off into the past where it needs to stay.
Yeah. And that's the same thing when you're giving yourself positive affirmations and positive thinking and saying kind things to yourself. And you're slowly doing a paradigm shift in your thought process. And it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
You got to practice, continue, continue. So it's not going to be one day you're going to go like, oh, I love myself. It's just one day you're going to realize you love yourself because you're doing all these things.
Yeah.
And when you get to this stage, or as you're progressing, people will start to treat you differently. You'll have some people that fall away because that's not how they like you. And that's their problem, not yours.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a problem for them, then they really aren't there to support you, to restore you, or to energize you.
That's true.
They're there to tear you down because that's where they want you.
That's true.
So happy Valentine's Day, gang. I have in the past have been a very big believer in don't buy me roses at Valentine's Day because they're overpriced and they die faster than any other time you get roses.
Amen. Yes.
Yeah, it's been in the past where I've gone to, well, let's just do Valentine's Day the day before because I don't want to wait forever for a meal that's going to come out cold.
Yeah.
Now, is that self-love conversation right there?
Uh,
Because what if your partner wants to take you out on Valentine's Day because it's important to them? But now I've just made the statement, I don't want to do it because this will be wrong, this will be wrong, this will be wrong. Well, I just set it out into the universe. So if we win, guess what? It's all going to be wrong.
right.
I manifested that bad boy. Thank you very much.
Yep.
If I tell someone don't give me roses because they're going to die. Well, they're going to die anyway,
Oh, that's true.
right?
Yes.
So if it's something that may have been brought up with the thing that was what their father did to their mother to show cherish, to show care.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be what that person's idea of what the roses are.
True.
So it's kind of, I don't know if you call it self-love or not, but it's almost like talking bad about the holiday makes it a bad holiday. So it's kind of what you make of it.
Right.
And it also depends on where you're at mentally, spiritually, with yourself. Are you liking yourself today? Kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? It's all going to come down to that, because if someone wants to take you to dinner on Valentine's Day, that's a big event in their mind.
Yeah.
It's different if I say, where are you taking me on Valentine's Day? That's totally different. That's making sure you have a date on Valentine's Day. But that might be because it's important to you. It makes you feel good
Mm-hmm.
to do that. And that's great. It just, everybody's got different mindsets and different ideas. But I just don't believe that you should ever tell someone how they can't love you unless it's a not kind thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So you were raised one way, your husband was raised a totally different way, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So you both had to figure out the ways that each other love.
Correct.
And, they talked about the love languages and different things like that. It comes down to what you put into yourself is what you're going to put into the relationship. If you're going to love yourself, you're frankly more lovable because your vibration's up. Have you ever been around someone like that? Like, oh my gosh, their vibration's high. I got to talk to you. And because it's more fun to talk to someone who's got a high vibration than someone who, okay, I don't want to be around you. Your vibration is really, really low. But now, performing self-love on this situation means you don't go around this person. This would be someone you're not going to go out of your way to be friends with because their vibration is not where it needs to be. It's like all the red flags. We were joking today about red flags and dating, and I'm like, yeah, I thought it was a carnival. So many red flags. Thought it'd be fun, But that's where if you're not in a good mindset and you're talking bad about yourself and not doing the self-love, you would miss all that.
Well, yeah, you'd just be right down there with them.
Yes. And you'd get sucked in.
Right.
And that's why if I wasn't working on my abilities like I have been and investing a lot of time in my abilities and practicing the opening and closing of the abilities and stuff. And I went through a period where I had a negative mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was funny. I was asked one time by a friend, this a couple years ago, how come you're not bitter? Everything you've gone through, why aren't you bitter? And I went, what? Like, was that an option? I didn't know I could pick bitter. It just never occurred to me because of where I was at my spiritual path.
Mm-hmm.
And so I jokingly said, well, I'd rather be better than bitter.
Yeah.
That really made sense, though. I'd rather be better than bitter. And to be better means I can't be bitter.
Right.
Which means I have to be positive. I have to love myself. Everybody out there, have a great Valentine's Day. Make sure you love yourself and take care of yourself. Kim, is there anything you want to add to that?
No, I think we hit it all.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to this Valentine/50th episode of Psychic Bent. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that this episode helps you in any way possible. Let us know if you found this episode good, bad, ugly, indifferent. If you're practicing self-love, whatever, just let us know. You can reach us at Psychic Bent Podcast on Facebook and on Instagram.
And you can reach us at psychicbent1@gmail.com. And please like, follow, rate, review, subscribe, however you want to do that on any of the platforms that you listen to.
Okay, thanks, listeners. Bye.
Bye. May your light shine bright.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast, Psychic Bent. If you enjoyed Psychic Bent, please like, follow, rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. We can be reached on Facebook at Psychic Bent Podcast. Our email address is psychicbent1@gmail.com. May your light shine bright.